everybody, my name is Tom and welcome to Tom Tries, where today we are going to be playing the Back to the Future Dice Through Time board game, published by Ravensburger Game, designed by Chris Letter, Ken Franklin, Kevin Rogers. And great Scott! Biff stole the DeLorean and took a joyride through time. Work together to complete key events from the Back to the Future film trilogy in order to find and return lost items. Players win if they return all the items to their proper locations in the correct years, and the players lose if that out of time marker reaches the game over space. So we are set up for a two-player game. We've got our board right here. Each row represents a different era. So I have 1885, 1955, 1985, and 2015. We got our player boards over here. We've got Doc and Marty from 1955, or at least in 1955, because it'd be a little younger than Marty. And we've got the 2015 Doc and Marty over here. So we have a couple sets of the Doc and Marty, and they start, according to the top here, at the clock tower in their respective years. Now, the big thing is, we actually never want these two to run into each other. We need to work together, but if we run in, we have a bit of a paradox problem. We'll get into the paradoxes here in just a little bit. Up top, we have our out-of-time tracker. And once again, if this makes it to the 12th space, it is game over. And for the sake of recording on a top-down, I'm not using the standee as normal. We're just laying it down there. So it starts in the zero track. Now, the name of the game, well, that's Back to the Future Dice Through Time, but what we are trying to do is we will be drawing a couple of cards each turn from this deck. Those cards will come onto the board, and they're going to be different events from the Back to the Future lore in the different movies. What we need to do is complete those. How about we just jump right into things and kind of show you how the game works. The biggest thing to keep in mind, the ultimate goal is to take each of these item cards. Once they're all collected, on the other side, they're going to have a specific item and a date. We need to return it to that location. Once all of them from each of the years has been returned, we win. There are 3 cards in each of those stacks, and we'll show you how you get those cards here in just a second. So, part 1 of a turn is the draw and place event cards, which you'll see on the top of the player boards. And in our 2-player game, we will be drawing 3 events. So, let's go ahead and do that. Our first up is, oh right, green screen's not gonna work too nice with this card. Skateboard chase in the courthouse square. This goes to Lou's Cafe in 1955. Now you'll see it has a symbol. It's got the wrench symbol up there in the corner. To be able to complete this card, we'll need to be able to take our DeLorean, come over to Lou's Cafe, spend a die with that symbol onto it, and that event has been taken care of. Once that happens, we collect an item from 1955, place it down in our items to return, and it will tell us when and where we need to take that item to. But we don't have that quite yet, and you'll also notice there is the chicken icon, and the chicken icon will represent Biff in the different years, because of course Biff is the one who stole the DeLorean and is causing all this havoc. If the card has the Biff icon, Biff moves over to it. We'll be able to get rid of Biff using a fist icon. But we need to draw 2 more cards here, so let's take a look. Marty and Jennifer take a walk. That's going to be at the clock tower in 1985. But it has that icon on it once again, so Biff is going to move over. And the last card is Doc falls in love with Clara. And that's going to the schoolhouse in 1985. And once again, it has the chicken symbol on it. So we'll go ahead and take care of that. Our first player is going to be the blue player, who's going to get this first player token, which has the set to 88 steering wheel. Roads where we're going, we don't need roads. And, oh, this little guy here does not come with the game. We just got him from a mystery crate a few years back and thought it'd be kind of cool to pull them out for this little playthrough. So once we do that, we go ahead and we roll our dice and see what we get. So we have 2 fists, we have 2 wrenches, and now the dice actions. So our fist, these will spend, if we spend a fist, we can move Biff from our current location to another location in the same year. The wrench, besides just taking care of the action here to collect that card, you spend to use as any one icon on an event card. So on event cards, these can be considered like wilds. We have a couple other symbols, and we'll get to those in just a little bit. The other thing is there is this Mr. Fusion on the bottom. You can spend any 2 matching dice to use any result for solving or effect. So what we want to do is we need to, and we start at the clock tower, we need to move 1. Now you can spend any die to move 1 space, but you can only move within your row. Columns and traveling through time, you're going to need a specific die base to be able to do that. This flux capacitor here, and once you roll one of those, you can spend to move to the same location in any other year. So we are going to move here using our 1 fist. We are going to spend the other fist to knock Biff anywhere within that row. So we're going to take him over to the Peabody farm. We are then going to spend our the wrench here to be able to knock out this event, the skateboard chase in the courthouse square, which is going to award us our very first item. We have Marty's guitar returned to Hill Valley High School in 1985. So we'll put this down in our inventory, and you can see we can only hold on to 2 items, and we need to get this to the Hill Valley High School. Now, right now, we don't have any way of traveling through time. We don't have 2 things to turn into Mr. Fusion. So the last thing we are going to do, we have nothing else we can use this die for right now. So we are going to take the Ripple Through Time action, which, what that means is we are going to place this die where we are at. What happens is, say our second player ends up in either of these 2 spaces, this die can ripple through time, forward through time, that is. So it'd be like we're leaving this wrench somewhere in Lou's Cafe, and our Doc and Marty here, oh yeah, you remember in 55 where we buried that wrench, and we pull that wrench out in the 80s. You can't do that backwards in time, even though it's a time travel game. Time doesn't work that way, apparently. So, we'll make it work. All right, so that's going to do it for our blue player. They have the die there ready to be rippled. And now we go to the other player's turn, our second player. You would roll the dice, perform actions together before we go into the advance and add paradox, which we'll get to in a second. I just decided not to roll them at the same time for the sake of keeping everything a little bit easier for this explanation. And we have rolled... We have a flux capacitor. We rolled a Doc Brown. The Doc Brown symbol. Spend to remove any 2 paradox tokens from the board. We'll get into what those do here in just a second. We have a flux capacitor. And we also have this Back to the Future symbol. Spend to move to any location in your current year. So instead of spending the 1 die to move 1 space, you can spend this die to move as far as you would like within that row. So we do know we need to come back in time and try to take care of this. Marty and Jennifer taking a walk. The downside of this right now is we don't have a way of taking care of Biff. If Biff's there, we cannot take actions. We can't turn cards in. So here's what we'll do. We will spend our flux capacitor to move to the clock tower, and right now, sadly, we're just gonna have to sit this one out because we could try to spend to remove any 2 paradox tokens. This would just let us move to any location, the same location in any year. This we can move back and forth. So we didn't get a lightning bolt Lightning Bolt will spend to re-roll any unspent die of your choice. So sadly, didn't quite help us out here. So we were able to move, but didn't take care of Biff, and we didn't take care of that event. So that's going to be it for the perform actions phase. So you should roll dice at the same time, then perform actions. Now we go to the advance the out of time marker. How does this portion work? We take a look at the board and we see what year has the most uncompleted events. And right now we have a tie between 85 and 85, but 1885, 1985, with one each. So in the case of a tie, we go to the furthest back in time, which is going to be up here. This out of time marker is going to move one for each event that we have unresolved, or for each location that we have a unresolved. So we have one, and it also, after we take care of that, we now add paradox tokens. This is now meaning this is getting a lot more unstable. So now if we are unable to take care of this again, and 1985 is our problem year for the advancing the out of time marker, this now will advance us 2 more instead of just the 1. Now, of course, that the out of time is how we lose this game. And the other way for that out of time to move forward is if we, for any reason, run into ourselves. So I know we're 2 separate players, but we're a set of Docs and Martys. And if the sets of Docs and Martys run into each other, that causes a paradox and forces you to go up by 2. So yeah, life is a little rough. But we're at the end of the round. We pass the first player token. We are going to draw and place event cards. So we've got Doc inventing the flux capacitor at the Brown Mansion in 1955, and this one does not have a Biff token or a Biff symbol in the corner, so Biff is just going to stay at the Peabody farm. Number 2, Old Man Peabody visited by a spaceman. Now, even though it doesn't have the symbol, he stays where he is. And the 3rd, Doc falls in love with Clara. Now we have a problem here. So now we have the same symbol twice, or this same event twice, meaning this is getting a lot harder. Now, for us to be able to take care of that event that has a paradox on it, we now need to complete both of those symbols. So that Back to the Future symbol, the lightning bolt symbol, that will take care of that. So a little rough to say the least, but hey, we can try, we can do it. So now let us roll this here. Couple lightning bolts, a flux capacitor. Oh, and we need to get Biff moved back over here. A flux capacitor, 2 lightning bolts. Well, we need a Doc Brown symbol for this, and we need a fist to get Doc off of that anyway. So that's a little rough. Part of me wants to spend this one, re-roll these 3, and see if we can get the Doc Brown and a fist so we can clear this. But the other part of me wants to spend this to move up to here, spend this to go over, but I don't think that's going to be the wisest action. So let us spend this one here. We are going to re-roll these 3. And we got the Doc Brown symbols. Spend to remove any 2 paradox tokens from the board. So I'm afraid we can't do this event because I can't take Biff out of the equation, but we can take out 2 paradox tokens from the board. So let's at least knock that out. And I think we're going to sadly pass on the turn again. Not the most efficient. So let us go. 1955, try to move over and see what we can get accomplished. So we've got a lightning bolt, we've got the symbol, the flux capacitor, and the Doc Brown. I think we're going to use the Back to the Future symbol. Come over to the Doc Brown, the Brown Mansion here. We are then going to spend the lightning bolt because we're going to try to get this one taken care of, but we need a wrench to do it. We didn't do it, but I got another lightning bolt. And a flux capacitor. So I'm afraid we have absolutely nothing done on this turn. Oh, this is bad. This is really bad already. So we come to the end of the round. We now need to advance the out of time marker. Now it is by location and not just the two sitting here. So 1955 is going to be our problem year. We have 2 uncompleted events. So we move that up twice, and each of these is going to get a paradox token. So if this triggers again, we're going to be moving up 4 on the next turn. So we now pass the first player token. Over to the other side, we now draw our 3 cards. First one up, at the Hill Valley High School, the enchantment Under the Sea Dance. Biff does not move there. We now in 1985 at Marty's house. Marty skateboards to school. And our last one, Marty and Jennifer take a walk. This one is now gotten a whole lot harder to get done, needing 3 dice to complete it, and we still have to get rid of Biff. So let us go ahead and roll. And we've got our wrench to be able to complete this task. So let's take the paradox token off. Let us turn this in. And let us grab our item. We got the treated logs. Needed to go back to the train bridge in 1885. Now, if we wanted to, we could try to come over here and complete this. But the downside of trying to do that right now is, well, we don't have the items to return space. You can only hold on to 2 items at a time. Here's the good news. If we can turn these items in, we will draw a Einstein token, and the out of time marker will get to move back 1 space, and it gets us 1 step closer to completing the game. So part of us is starting to think maybe that's what we should do, and that's what we should focus on a little bit. But I think we are going to use our flux capacitor. We're going to go back to 1985. We need to return this to the train bridge. So we will use the back to the symbol sign and come over to the train bridge. This will turn in the treated logs. Let's just stick that over to there. Now we move the out of time marker back by 1, and we get an Einstein token. What do Einstein tokens do? You see how it has a symbol on it? You can turn that token in to use it for that symbol as if it were a die. Any player can use that. Doesn't just go to one side, goes into a common pool. And finally, we have a fist. We could leave it to try to ripple it. We'll just kind of let that go for right now. Is it the best idea? No, but that's what I'm doing. So, come over to pink player. Roll the die. Oh wow, we have 3 Doc Brown symbols. We have a lightning bolt. So, actually, here is what we are going to do. We are going to spend these 2 to use the Mr. Fusion, spend any 2 matching dice to use the result for any effect. We are going to send Biff packing to the Twin Pines Mall just to get him off this space. Then we are going to turn in 1, 2, and 3 to knock these cards out of the way. They are no longer a problem. And that will get us Sports Almanac that needs to go to Blast from the Past in 2015. All right, so we spent our token. I'll just keep it off here to the side. We've got our Sports Almanac. All of our dice have been used up. And that should do it for the round. We now need to advance the out of time marker. And sadly, 1955 is going to continue to be a problem. And we're going to move it 1, 2, 3. So 1, 2, 3. We are at 5 of 12. We are hurting a little bit early on. Those wasted turns early didn't do us any favors. But the good news for us on this portion where we have to do the paradox token, each location can only hold one paradox token each. So that's a little bit of a saving grace. So that didn't just get a third one or a second one onto it. I was thinking a third cause of that out of time tracker. But we passed the first player token. We draw our 3 cards, and let's see what we got. Lou's Cafe, skateboard chase in the courthouse square. Biff does not move. The train pushes the DeLorean to 88 miles per hour. This goes to the train bridge, but we got, what is it, Mad Dog Tanner or something? Now the game says Biff on here, but I know it's not Biff. Yeah, I want to say Mad Dog. I'm gonna have to look that one up later. That's gonna drive me a little bonkers. And finally, we have the Enchantment Under the Sea dance that has now gotten much harder to get done. Now requiring 3 tokens, and the card does have Biff on it. So 55 is definitely a problem child that we need to get taken care of. Let's see if maybe our 2015 duo can help us out. They got 3 lightning bolts, a dock symbol. No lightning bolt, sadly, because we could spend the 2 to go up to 55. That's a little rough. All right, here's what I think we are maybe gonna do. So we could get this taken care of this turn by spending 1 to move over, and we would have to spend the Einstein here to move over 1. We could spend these 2 to turn into the back to the future symbol for that requirement, as well as the lightning bolt to be able to take care of this. And we can maybe hope the blue player can come down and do some work on 55. But because there's not much we can do otherwise, so I think that's what we're gonna do. It's gonna spend all 4 of our dice, but it takes this event out. We draw a second card. We got the mind reading helmet that needs to go back to the Brown Mansion in 55. So that'll wrap up our 2015 player, the purple player's turn, or pink player's turn. Kind of purple, kind of pink. You see it in person, you definitely know it is very, very pink. Now, here's how we rolled here. And we could actually get that finished. Yeah, and that might be what's happening. We're gonna be going up the track 4. If we don't somehow get down and take care of something in that track. But there's not a ton we can do. At least not with what we rolled. Because we would have to spend 2 to move down. Or try to re-roll the 3 to move on down. We would still need a fist to push him off. So that doesn't do us a ton of favors. At least if we use a fist to knock him, let's put him at the blacksmith. We could then spend this one here to clear this off, and I think that's what we're gonna do. We draw the item. We got the power laces. That needs to go back to Skyway in 2015. And we will use the Doc Brown token here. Take 2 paradoxes off. Is it the best idea in the world? No, but what else are we gonna do right now? All right, so that is going to end the action phase. We now need to advance the out of time marker. 55 is still the problem, but instead of moving 5, it is moving 1, 2, and 3. This is getting a little dicey. Dicey with the dice. Yeah, all right. It's worth a shot. The first player marker will move after we add the paradox tokens. So now this will be moving up 6 if we don't touch it or do anything with it. So first player marker moves on over. we draw 3 new cards. Maybe, just maybe, we can get an event that might be able to help us out. Nope. Old Man Peabody is visited by a spaceman. Biff is moving over. Marty skateboards to school. This is coming into 85 at Marty's house. Biff is going to move over. Oops. And Doc saves Marty at the clock tower under construction. And I'm gonna put this 4th one I actually accidentally drew back onto the bottom of the deck because I did see it. So we'll put it down there. Now let's roll the dice. See what we can do. Okay, that's not good for us. Well, we could spend these 2 to drop to here, but I need 3 to finish it. So we could spend these 2 to come to the Hill Valley High School, turn this in just so we open that back up. Oh yeah, because if we don't take care of 1955, we are in a world of trouble. And I should move Biff here off of that. Oof. At least this would go back by 1. I can take 2 of the paradox tokens off, and it would give us another one of these. Hopefully our counterpart could roll a flux capacitor to be able to move back there, so instead of having to spend the 2 dice, I don't see what else choice we have right now. So all right, we're gonna try it. So we're gonna spend these 2 to use it with Mr. Fusion to be able to move up and turn in Marty's guitar to Hill Valley High School in 1985. That is going to take the out of time back by 1, and we get a new Einstein token, which is a fist. And here, let's get this moved. What else do we have going on that we could do? We're gonna spend the Einstein token to take this off of here. Let's take this one off of here. And we could try to move, but I think we're gonna hold on to it. We could try to ripple it, but I don't think we're coming to 2015 for any reason. So let's go to pink. Not great. Not great at all. So, oh, 2 fists and 2 Back to the Future symbols. What can I do with this? Well, I don't think we quite have enough, because if I spend these 2, we would be able to, for the Mr. Fusion, we'd be able to come back up to Lou's Cafe. If we then, but I would still need 1 to come over to here and 2 fists to pull it off. Even though we have the 1 Einstein token, it's just not quite enough to pull that off. So we'll use the 2 fists there. We will spend the Back to the Future symbol to come over to the Brown Mansion. And this will then turn in the mind reading helmet. This will take us back 1 more, get us a new token. Another fist symbol. And that's, I think that's gonna be all she wrote. Yeah, we definitely did a lot of misplays here. Let's, this is gonna go pretty quick. Mistakes were made very early on, and my dice rolling definitely came back to haunt me. But that's gonna do it for the round. We now need to advance the out of time marker. 1, 2, 3, 4. Taking us 1, 2, 3, and 4. We have another round left. It is not over yet. Oh, but it's about to be. Now these get the paradox put onto them, and we pass the first player. Draw 1, 2, and 3 cards. We've got Marty buys the Sports Almanac in 2015. This is going to go to Blast from the Past. Biff does not move. Hoverboard chase to the Clock Tower Mall in 2015. And Biff steals the DeLorean from the Skyway all 2015, and that does have the chicken symbol. Moving Biff on over. Now it's the player's turn. Come on, roll something good for us. 2 lightnings. A virtual wild fist. So if we can move 1 space, we can come to here. We can punch Biff away, and let's put him over to the clock tower. Yeah, nothing turns into the clock tower. So we've done these 2. We now have, with the help of this, 3 to be able to knock this out. That takes these 2 off the board. And we now collect a new item from 55 to try to return. We got Clara's telescope that needs to go back to 1985. So we moved. We lightning bolted. I do believe that is going to wrap up our turn here. So we did a little bit. I don't think it's gonna quite be enough to save us, to say the least. Oof. Well, let's play it out. Let's see what happens. On Blue's turn, flux capacitor, a fist, and a lightning bolt. What can we do with this? Well, we could try to turn in the power laces. That would at least take us back down by 1. Because right now, I do believe this is going to go up 3. Because it will go to the one with the most markers onto it. So instead of going up 4, it would only go up 3, but we can't afford to let it even go up by 2. Which is definitely a problem right now. We could... Well, we could use a flux capacitor to bring us down to here. Then use the double fist to move to blast from the past. No. Oh, that has to go to Skyway. Oh, that's definitely problematic. Because with Biff over here, I actually can't turn that into the Skyway. So I'm just trying to figure out if there is absolutely anything we can do to try to save this run. It's gonna be one of the quickest I've lost in this game, but it's the recording curse of trying to remember to do everything and failing at a few other things. So yeah, all right. Just to get this moving along, let us try to come on down. 2015. We are then going to spend 1, 2 to move over. Actually, here's what we'll do. We will roll. We'll use this to roll these 2. Didn't get anything we could use. Here, we'll do this. We'll roll this, and I'm afraid that's gonna be our game, because the out of time marker, we go to the one with the most, which is 2015. This is gonna move 3 spaces, putting us to out of time. We have failed in very, very quick fashion. You can definitely see if events start piling up, you are going to be in a lot of trouble, because you only get the 4 die every turn. Rippling die is going to be able to help you out. Those Einstein tokens definitely help you out a lot. And a card that we never ran into, oh, and it's Mad Dog Tannen. There we go. Showdown with Mad Dog Tannen are these events. So this 1.21 gigawatts. You could use a lightning result. Can be spent to time travel this round. The out of gas arrow icons only move you 1 space this round. So they can help you, they can hurt you, but we never ran into them. It looks like, yeah, on our shuffle, we kind of piled up into 1 spot. After rolling, players may re-roll any number of their die. That's you can accomplish anything. So there you have it. That is the Back to the Future Dice Through Time, our little gameplay here. Hey, if you liked the video, please consider giving it a thumbs up. Subscribe for more board game content right here on the Tom Tries channel. And until next time, TTFN, ta-ta for now.